Hi, I'm Allison Thompson, Director of Economic Development and Tourism for the City of Cedar Hill, Texas. Well, I'm a director of a department, and within my department there are other employees, managers. One is a manager of tourism, manager of business retention, and then a manager of marketing, also our executive assistant. So we try to cover basically everything. Except for residential development, unless it's an apartment complex, and we'll help them with that too. Or some other kind of multifamily, we'll help with them. I love working with businesses, and I have to admit my preference and what I really love are the small businesses where you have an entrepreneur, small business owner that's growing their business, and then we assist them in getting into their first location where instead of renting or leasing, they are building their own building that's exactly how they like it, and we're there for the ribbon cutting. And just to see the look on their face and the energy that creates, and the new jobs for their employees, the better space for their employees, there's a lot of personal satisfaction that goes with that. So, as I mentioned before with the tourism aspect, well, that's also quality of place. So we've created a place where they can a beautiful place where they can have their business, raise their families, and be a part of the community. I'll take Pepware. Pepware is a business that has been growing. They were growing and came into our business park, and now they've grown again and had an expansion. To take a tour of that facility with them is wonderful. Let's see, the first facility was about 32,000 square feet, and now half again bigger than that, and growing with employees, about 50 odd employees there. And they are engaged in the community. They do community service. Pepware prints, one of the things they do is screen print t-shirts. They work with bands and booster clubs, and so now they're providing t-shirts for the local bike rally or the local run, and so they're fully engaged in the community, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Those businesses to not only be there, but to be engaged and be a part of the community. I would say the most important piece of advice that I would give is know that there's more than one right answer. I've seen too many economic developers get waylaid when they know what's the right thing to do, but the stakeholders in the communities want to do something different. And they get so invested in what they want to do that they lose sight of the fact that the community belongs to the citizens and the stakeholders, and they end up losing their job or having a lot of issues. So I would say keep in mind there's more than one right answer, and be sure and keep the pulse and listen to the stakeholders and the citizens of your community. I was very fortunate. I wouldn't say there was one mentor that I had. I had multiple trusted advisors, people that I felt very comfortable picking up the phone and calling and saying, hey, I've got this issue, what do you recommend I do? And I met them through the classes that I took as I was going towards my certification. And so I've been very fortunate that way to get really good advice along the way. Well, the landscape has changed a lot. And so I think the staying on the cutting edge of research and being open to that, that our world is changing and we need to do things differently is a really strong point in economic development. And that we've taken that research in hand with the economic development research partners to make sure that we're changing as we need to stay relevant. Well, you can't help but. You spend so much time, this is not a 40-hour-a-week job, and you get to know people so closely that you can't help but to care. But you do need to stay a professional and have that a certain amount of detachment back to there's more than one right answer, and that you have to do, be a professional at all times and handle things professionally. I started early into the certification process because I started my career a little bit later. I was fortunate to stay home with my kids and get my kids most of the way up and then start my career. I knew I had to get my certification and my education quickly in order to compete in the marketplace for jobs. And I'll tell you, some of my best friends have come through that certification and learning process, and now being very involved in IEDC. I'm a committee joiner and like to be involved, and I've met a lot of great people and made a lot of really good friends. Well, to your point, there's sometimes I'll drive into communities where I worked before and go, woohoo, they built it, and know that the seed of that was in conversations and things years and years before. I think you just have to keep the long view. And that's true in a lot of professions, but in ours in particular, you've got to keep that long view that what we're doing today is building on and becoming, and it might not happen. We may not see the fruits of it, but that ultimately, good things will come from what we're doing. One of the toughest things in my job is education, is helping people understand what economic development is and what it isn't, and what we should be working on and taking our time, energy, resources on, and what we shouldn't be working on. Well, the community, the citizens, the stakeholders set the vision. We work to implement that vision, but it is their vision. So it is appropriate that they do the celebrating, that they do the ribbon cutting. And I think it's up to us to encourage each other. And hey, I get thank yous from work. I mean, from both the city council as well as administration. So, but it's really not for us to be up front and clipping the ribbon. That's not our place. But what I would say is, it's also our celebration when something happens, and I get thank yous from business owners, from folks. So there's plenty of encouragement there. I think it's up to us to encourage each other. And I get that too from other economic developers, and I try to do it too. And when I see somebody publicizing a win, I shoot them an email and say, hey, congratulations. Know you worked hard on that. So I think it's important for us to bolster each other and encourage each other. Maybe the next initiative that we should have is to celebrate the year of the millennial. I mean, those poor millennials are maligned right and left. Everywhere I go, there's a session on the millennials. Maybe we should take a year to celebrate our incoming workforce and our millennials and how they're responsible for positive disruption in the workplace. I guess I'd end by saying I really appreciate the opportunities that I've gotten in IEDC. It's the kind of organization that if you step up and say, I want to do something, I want to be a part, you can step in. IEDC is not a cliquey organization where you feel like you cannot break through and be a part of it. You can. You want to help, you want to volunteer, you want to be a part of it, all you have to do is step up and say so. And there's a place for you. And a committee or a group or somewhere where you can get engaged and learn a lot, get to know a lot of people, and really benefit your career.